Welcome back to the IS Companion. In today's lecture, we will discuss the Panchayati Raj system in India. The Panchayati Raj system in India represents the establishment of rural local self-government, aiming to foster democracy at the grassroots level. This system has been institutionalized across all Indian states through legislative acts passed by state governments. Entrusted with rural development, Panchayati Raj was constitutionally recognized by the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which significantly reformed the structure and functioning of these local bodies. Evolution of Panchayati Raj. The concept of Panchayati Raj has evolved over time, with several key committees contributing to its development. The first significant step was the establishment of the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee in January 1957. The committee was tasked with evaluating the Community Development Program 1952 and the National Extension Service 1953 and proposing improvements. Chaired by Balwant Rai Ji Mehta, the committee recommended a three-tier system comprising the Gram Panchayat at the village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and Zilla Parishad at the district level. These bodies were to be organically linked through indirect elections, with the Panchayat Samiti acting as the executive body and the Zilla Parishad serving advisory and supervisory roles. These recommendations, accepted by the National Development Council in 1958, led to the establishment of Panchayati Raj in Rajasthan on 2 October 1959, followed by Andhra Pradesh and subsequently other states. Differences in the implementation of the Panchayati Raj system arose across states, with variations in the number of tiers, functions, and relative powers of the Panchayat Samiti and Zilla Parishad. For instance, while Rajasthan adopted a three-tier system, Tamil Nadu implemented a two-tier system, and West Bengal opted for a four-tier structure. These variations reflected local conditions and priorities. In December 1977, the Janata government formed the Ashok Mehta Committee to address the declining efficacy of Panchayati Raj institutions. The committee proposed replacing the three-tier system with a two-tier structure, comprising the Zilla Parishad at the district level and the Mandal Panchayat at the lower level, representing a group of villages. It emphasized the need for political party involvement in elections, compulsory taxation powers for Panchayati Raj institutions, regular social audits, and the constitutional recognition of these bodies. Although the Janata government's term ended before these recommendations could be enacted at the national level, states like Karnataka, West Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh began revitalizing Panchayati Raj based on these suggestions. In 1985, the G.V.K. Rao Committee highlighted the bureaucratization of rural development and recommended strengthening the Zilla Parishad's role in planning and development. This committee's proposals differed from earlier ones by reducing the developmental role of the district collector and enhancing the Panchayati Raj institution's involvement in local planning. Subsequently, the L.M. Singhavi Committee in 1986 recommended constitutional recognition and protection for Panchayati Raj institutions, establishment of Nyaya Panchayats for justice delivery, and financial empowerment of village panchayats. It also stressed the importance of the Gram Sabha as the embodiment of direct democracy. Further, the Thungu Committee in 1988 and the Gadgil Committee in 1988 recommended constitutional recognition, a fixed tenure, direct elections, and financial autonomy for Panchayati Raj bodies. The Thungu Committee also proposed a state finance commission to guide financial devolution to these institutions. Constitutionalization of Panchayati Raj. Efforts to constitutionalize Panchayati Raj began earnestly under the Rajiv Gandhi government, which introduced the 64th Constitutional Amendment Bill in 1989. Despite passing in the Lok Sabha, it was rejected by the Rajya Sabha. The subsequent V.P. Singh government and P.V. Narasimha Rao government continued these efforts, leading to the successful enactment of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1992. This act added Part 9 to the Indian Constitution, covering Articles 243 to 243O, and introduced the 11th Schedule, detailing 29 functional items for panchayats. 73rd Amendment Act of 1992. The 73rd Amendment Act marked a significant milestone in India's democratic evolution, transforming representative democracy into participatory democracy by giving constitutional status to Panchayati Raj institutions. It mandated the establishment of Gram Sabhas as the foundation of the Panchayati Raj system, introduced a uniform three-tier structure, and provided for direct elections of panchayat members. The Act also mandated reservations for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and women in panchayat elections and offices, ensuring broader representation. The Act specified a 5-year term for panchayats and provisions for disqualification, state election commissions, and finance commissions. It allowed panchayats to levy taxes, receive state grants, and manage funds, thereby enhancing their financial autonomy. Additionally, it required regular elections and audits of panchayat accounts, aiming to ensure transparency and accountability. The 73rd Amendment Act applied to all states and union territories, with specific exemptions for states like Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Mizoram due to their unique socio-political contexts. This constitutionalization of Panchayati Raj institutions marked a revolutionary step towards building a robust framework for local self-governance and grassroots democracy in India. The Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act, 1996, commonly known as the PESA Act, was enacted to extend the provisions of Part 9 of the Constitution relating to panchayats to scheduled areas with necessary modifications. This act aims to empower tribal communities in India's 5th schedule areas, allowing them to govern themselves according to their traditional customs and practices. The 10 states with 5th schedule areas, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, and Rajasthan, have amended their respective Panchayati Raj Acts to comply with PESA. The PESA Act's objectives include extending constitutional provisions to scheduled areas, promoting self-rule for the tribal population, establishing village governance with participatory democracy, and ensuring the Gram Sabha is central to all activities. It also seeks to preserve tribal traditions, empower panchayats with specific powers, and prevent higher-level panchayats from usurping the authority of lower-level panchayats and Gram Sabhas. Key features of the PESA Act include ensuring state legislation aligns with customary tribal laws, defining villages based on traditional practices, empowering Gram Sabhas to safeguard tribal traditions, and mandating Gram Sabha approval for development plans. The Act also stipulates reservation policies, consultation requirements for land acquisition, management of minor water bodies, and control over mining and minor forest produce. Ineffectiveness of Panchayati Raj institutions, PRIs. Despite the constitutional status conferred by the 73rd Amendment Act, 1992, PRI's performance has been suboptimal due to several reasons. 1. Lack of adequate devolution. Many states have not sufficiently devolved functions, funds, and functionaries, 3 Fs, to PRIs, hindering their ability to fulfill their roles. 2. Excessive bureaucratic control. In some states, Gram Panchayats are subordinated to bureaucratic control, forcing sarpanches to spend excessive time seeking approvals and funds from block offices. 3. Tied nature of funds. Government grants are often tied to specific schemes, limiting flexibility and sometimes resulting in the promotion of unsuitable activities. 4. Dependence on government funding. PRIs rely heavily on government funds, reducing local accountability and initiative for resource generation. 5. Reluctance to use fiscal powers. Many panchayats are hesitant to levy taxes on their constituents, leading to inadequate local revenue generation. 6. Weak Gram Sabhas. empowering Gram Sabhas could enhance transparency and accountability, but many state laws do not clearly define their powers or procedures. 7. Creation of parallel bodies. The establishment of parallel bodies for implementing projects often undermines PRI's authority and effectiveness. 8. Poor infrastructure. Many gram panchayats lack basic facilities, including full-time secretaries and office buildings, and insufficient training hampers elected representatives' performance. Addressing these challenges is crucial for PRIs to fulfill their constitutional mandate and contribute effectively to the development of rural and tribal areas in India. Thank you.